World. Peace. Hope everybody's doing good, man. I haven't did a video on here in a long time. Like I haven't really made a video, whatever. Hope everybody's doing good, man. Continue to keep me lifted up. If you believe in that type of thing, continue to pray for me. And I was thinking about, if you've never been to this page, like one thing I always talk about is the importance of relationships. I haven't, like I said, I haven't made a video in a while, but the importance of relationships, the importance of marriage, even though that's kind of a rare thing in this modern society from I guess you would argue, a millennial standpoint, viewpoint, encouraging men and women marrying. I think that's still a key thing. So I'm all about that. It's important that importance of the family unit, not buying into laws of this world. Um, the stuff I'm into, being awakened. Um, I probably talked a lot of did a lot of like teachings biblically wise. Talked about ancient Hebrews and kind of what that is to me, and the history of that and how that ties into so much stuff too. And then you know you got truther and all that. Like it's out of all those different subjects and things you hear thrown around in society, like relationships, um, seeing things right, not falling to a lot of this world. Like that's kind of a theme that I've always talked about. Especially relationships, especially the family unit, especially being there for one another. Like having children, even every article I hear now is like how you know people don't having a lot of children, and some of that's propaganda. If you study the news and know the news, it's a lot of propaganda. But at the same time, some of that's true because society haven't poured into the younger generations. They haven't poured into them on how to have a relationship, how to have love, how to have marriage, how to have these things. And in fact, I think so. So I think often back when Paul said in, I think it was the book of Titus, he was like, um, tell the older women to teach the younger women how to love their husbands. Like teach the younger women how to love their husbands. Like that's a very, very important thing, and it's something that's not being taught in a way. The opposite is being taught. So, and I've thought about this pretty heavy in the last day or two. But like, if you're not teaching women how to love their husbands, how to be wives, then you're breaking down not only this generation but the next generation. So if a change doesn't happen, you have literally the other generation practicing those same things of whatever they seen. So it's important that we catch things where they are, and if healing needs to take place, if we need the Most High to help us heal in a certain area, to help us get better in a certain area, then just pray. You know what I'm saying? But how you were raised, the older you get, you start to see that stuff ends up impacting relationships as well. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna give a quick verse. I know it's kind of long. I guess it was long because I haven't really made videos in a while. But I'm gonna give a quick verse, and we're gonna talk about it. And I'm gonna give about a few points, and we'll be out. I think I want to title this one "How to." I don't know if I'll say how to find a good man. How can a woman find a good man? Traits that a good man look for in a woman, or something to that regard. But that'll kind of be what I'm centering around. And the scripture that caught my attention today that I thought about is Proverbs 30 and verse 24. No. Verse 21 to 23. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 21 through 23. All right, it says, under three things the earth trembles, under four it cannot bear up. A slave when he becomes king, and a fool when he is filled with food. Verse 23, an unloved woman when she gets a husband. An unloved woman when she gets a husband, and a maid servant when she displaces her mistress. Kind of centering around verse 34, the when you go back to verse 21, it says, on the three things the earth tremble, on the four cannot bear. So he's setting it up saying these are four things that if they happen, it comes with some issues. And particularly verse 3 when he said, an unloved woman when she gets a husband. I thought the fascinating thing with that is, you hear quite a bit about relationships in our modern era, whether it's how bad they are, how much divorce is happening, or people maybe positively have marriage ministries where they're celebrating and big up in marriage. But one thing that really hit me, and I kind of hit on this a while ago, but we're dealing with an epidemic of women who, I won't say they don't feel loved, and in a way I do want to use that word because that's what the word says, but they have had to overcome some things by either what they did see from mom that may not have been good, or maybe some things that they didn't see from mom that may not have been good. And it's kind of a situation where I think if you're a millennial, particularly in the black community, if you want to call it that, I always say this, within the black community, relationships are so up and down. And that's not a great thing, because that relationships are a kind of a community stabilizer. You got to build from there. But I think within our community, and you're starting to hear more and more about trauma and healing and things like that, but I don't think as a male looking at it, male millennial looking at it, I don't think as males we looked at our counterpart females as that they have had to overcome trauma. Like, you look at this woman, whether she got a nice body, or whether she this or that, or she got a degree, or she got a nice job, or whatever the world pumps up. But it's like, man, if she has experienced some things that's not good, and we know the relationships within the last 40 to 50 years in our community haven't been great. Marriages have been not a lot, and divorce have been plenty. So when you understand that our women in this society, and maybe you can argue in the black community, but the women haven't had an example of love, and in some cases that probably produced feelings of them not feeling loved, right? And I wonder, and I just thought about it earlier. I said, I wonder how much that plays into relationship issues. People think it's this and that, and it's a person trying to love someone, but they both haven't done enough healing, if you will. And that's something that I noticed within the women within our community. The hurt. Some of it is the mother hurt. Some of it is father hurt, not having that bond. Some of it is, a fortunate situation or two happened. An addiction happened. Like, these things that happened 15, 20 years ago kind of start running their head 20 years down the line, especially when it comes to relationship patterns and the lack thereof. But I was reading that verse and I said, you know what? It talks about an unloved woman, but I said, what if that woman's out there and she's saying, hey man, I want to be healed. I want a good, decent man. I want a man that can at least pray. I want a man that wants to build a relationship with me. I want those type of things in my life. Maybe I didn't have a good family, but I want a good family. What's some things I would do as a young person that, growing into maturity? And I wrote down a list, and I think if we can get back to healing one another, that'll improve the relationship quality within our community. But this is just my idea, some things I wrote down. But I said, what would I say to that woman who feel like in this generation she wants different? She wants a family. Maybe she's single. She wants the God foundation, if you will. I said that first thing that woman should display. Maybe she felt unloved, but she wants to kind of rediscover love by first loving herself. Like, how should that good woman carry herself? Maybe you were in love, but the Father loves you, so what should be that new cloth that you're wearing? I said, number one, everything starts in spirit, and that simply means that good woman has a kind spirit, and she has a spirit that is she's self-reflective, meaning she understands herself. Be it trauma, she's willing to go to counseling. You have to be in tune with yourself, and what that simply means is the areas in your life, man, that are weak, that you're struggling with as a woman. You gotta lay them before the Father, and lay them before friends, or lay them before a therapist. However you want to see that thing, but you have to know your areas of weakness. I think we live in kind of a society where everybody rather one up each other. I got this, well, you better have this. Why won't anybody come into a relationship saying, "Hey, I'm broken in this area. Can you show me your weak area? I'll show you my withered hand. Show me your withered hand." Nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to put on like a pompous show, like they have everything together. And I think sometimes you get into a relationship and you already have some brokenness inside, but externally people can't see it. When the relationship starts breaking down, it's because that person haven't dealt with what was inside of them. If you had I don't want to start naming things, but if you had something in the past that was a triggering type of act, that was a hostile type of act, if you grow up seeing cousin, uncle, mom, dad, grandmother speak so much hatred against marriage, so much hatred against that type of stuff, like it's a good percent that's going to be in you, meaning some of that stuff you're gonna naturally have. Some of it simply put is the self-hating. If you heard a lot of stuff that was discouraging to your spirit as a child, that was discouraging to your dreams or whatever, that can wound you. If you was promised things from a father, he didn't come through, that can wound you. And a lot of times, man, we try to baggage that stuff up and then go into a relationship. That wise person, that person that wants to grow, that person that wants stability in that area, that woman who wants to be a good woman, she reflects. She understands, or he understands what I'm talking about, because both has to heal, but she understands everything starts in the spirit realm. And I have to improve my spirit. I have to improve my conduct. I have to improve how I am, right? And I have to address my trauma. Number two, for that woman who wants to stand out, that woman who may have been unloved, like Proverbs 30 and 23 says, she's modest. She's modest. I think modesty is one of the like really missing links in society, and it's almost so cute when you see a modest person because so much is shown. From the front to the back. So much is shown. It's tight. It's this. It's that. So much is shown to where modesty. It's almost, when you see it, it's so beautiful because it's so contrasting to what you see on the every day. And modesty is not just a pearl. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you answer questions. It's how you receive an answer or receive a question. What's your comeback? Sometimes when anybody who have worked around the community or worked around young adults or whatever, young people, you notice within this generation, it probably didn't start in this generation, but you notice like the snappiness. You notice the especially if you work around like, people who are in that young people who are in that teenage range, you notice the attitudes, and you notice the snappiness. And one thing I noticed, and I didn't put it together, but I said, you so often villainize that teenager or that young adult who has a bad attitude in the workplace or whatever. But a lot of times they got that from a parent. A lot of times maybe they got that from mom. Maybe they got that from auntie. Maybe they got that from grandmother. So that wise woman, that woman who may have been unloved, using verse 23, Proverbs 30 and 23, she has to be a modest woman. She has to have a humility, because a humility, you have to have that, especially when you have been through trauma. That humility is simply saying, hey man, I'm humble enough that I've been through something, but I'm also humble enough that I believe I can overcome it. I believe I can find love. I believe I can be loved. Even if I felt like I didn't grow up in a home that was surrounded by love, I believe that love can come from my seed. I believe it can come from the one. I believe that love can come from me. Like that righteous woman, she has to be modest, modest in pearl, modest in her spirit. I think about David saying that God doesn't turn away a humble and a contrite spirit. He doesn't turn that away. Like that's powerful. I think that's something that almost, especially in the black community, especially in the relationships, like that's something that has eroded. Like it's so much like ego and arrogance, and it's like it's hard to build. It's hard to build like that. Number three. So number one, everything starts in the spirit. That woman who wants to be different, she understands everything starts in the spirit. And by that, she addresses her traumas, her issues, anything. She's self-reflective. She looks within and studies herself and go to counseling or pray or do whatever she do to want to improve herself. Number two, she's modest. She dressed modest. She has a modest spirit. She has a respectable spirit. And that's somebody you want to be around. Number three, just some practical stuff, guys. This is not too deep. We just practical stuff for that woman who wants to find love. Even number three, smile, be friendly. It's interesting because some of the women now say they have. I'm gonna try to keep it PG. They have this resting face. I'll put it like that. And the resting face is code word for they look mean. That's just how they look. That's just their style. They don't mean to look mean, but they're looking mean. That's their style. That's not that. The woman who is love, the woman who wants to find love, the woman who wants to build love, that's not how she operates. Unless you're looking for the Grinch. Smile, yo. Be friendly. Carry yourself as if you're looking to attract a kind man. If you're out in the grocery store, sisters, it's okay to smile. It's okay to speak to a guy first. If you're at, wherever you're at, you're at the gym or you're at wherever you're day to day, it's okay to smile. You got your purse on, you got your outfit nice. It's okay to smile. It's okay to look inviting. I remember hearing a person say, "Man, if I stay in the house all the time, how do I expect to meet a person?" And that's true, but I also take it further. If I go out and about and I'm looking serious, I'm looking mean, I'm angry, how do I expect to find someone kind? And that ultimately speaks to a larger part. We have to learn how to be kind to ourselves. We have to learn how to heal parts of ourselves. One thing that I notice is whatever we pierce, whatever that is within ourselves that we don't like, we have a way of taking it out on people as well. So, you have to get honest with yourself. You have to get, completely honest with who you are and your improvements and your areas you have to make, and understand that so that you can attract what you need to attract. But you're attracted by your kindness, the way you carry yourself, the way your modesty, your smiling, your spirit, that pleasant spirit, quiet spirit, which is acceptable in the sight of the Father. So that's number three. Number four, and we'll end it on this: don't buy into the lies of this world. Man, when I was growing up, I would always hear people like speak of the horrors of marriage, and I'm pretty sure women have heard the negative side. I mean, the other side of it, the horrors of marriage from women's side. But as I got older, I understood these people are saying that because their marriages are going the way of the world, meaning if the world marriages are crumbling, theirs are crumbling too. If the world marriage is full of depression, anger, theirs too. Like they're only giving their situation, even if it's like a lot of people, they're giving their situation. But I said to myself as well, though, we can't buy into that. Like the world is gonna always promote and advertise that which is not the way of the Most High. That's why the word says, "Love not this world, anything in it," because the world is gonna always pump up things that go against the Father. I remember it was a high, I don't know if you call it political or whatever figure that they did this study. Man, you can look it up. I think it's memorandum 201, something like that. But they did a memorandum. They said if we educate the women, they will have less children. There was a whole like population thing. They were like depopulation thing. They were like, if we educate more women around the world and in Africa and places that they're deemed third world countries, the more progressive we give the women, that they will literally start having less children. That was a study they did, and it's true. And so, with this rise in feminism, with this rise in this attitude of, can women have everything? Can they have a family, have a big career, have this, have that? I just want to remind you, don't buy into the world, because the world is fool's gold. So they're going to always sell you something that's pretty. It's like the apple, go back into the Garden of Eden. It looks good. It looks pleasing, like it's full of wisdom, full of this, full of that. But beauty for humans and for women, even in this modern day, it's found in your purpose and knowing the Creator and having a family. Like, that's still something to want. Now, it's getting harder because there's so much propaganda. It's so many lies. It's so much gender war stuff that you see on the news and all that type of stuff. But that's when you can't buy into it. You can't buy into it, man. If the world's saying don't do it, you probably want to go the opposite way. The world say don't worry about having a good family, just live your life. You probably gonna want that family, because, and it's funny because the world is actually coming around to studies which anybody who's been talking about family and the breakdown, who's been talking about this for years, understand. Loneliness increase without family. Addictions increase without family. Body modification, like so much stuff increase when that bond of family, that bond of relationship, that bond of kinship is destroyed. That's one of the most basic human elemental needs in all of society. Whether you go to the east, west, north, south, like humans have always been connected species. So, in one of the first connections outside that mother and father, or that birth, is when that man and woman get together and have children. So if you attack that, you're attacking the mental, the spiritual, the physical, the psychological. You're attacking all of that in the human element. It's all an ecosystem, and you're attacking the ecosystem. So if you believe in family, if you believe in the Most High's way, then you're not gonna buy into this idea that that whatever the world's selling. So I just wanted to kind of drop you off that. I did base a little bit around base that around Proverbs 30 and 23. So just to rehash it, so the four things I said, that woman who wants to be loved, maybe she didn't feel love growing up, but she wants to be loved. She wants to attract that godly man for her. I said, number one, she has to know that everything starts in the spirit. So you have to be willing to address yourself. That's the mental, that's the physical, that's the psychological. That's like a whole diagnostic test. You got to be willing to look at yourself and see areas you got to improve in, so you can either attract the right thing, but also so you know that you got to come into a relationship humble too. You got some issues you got to fix too. But that's number one. Number two, modesty. Dress modestly, and be modest. Be modest, man. Modest in your spirit. Don't get caught up in this cold world. In the last days, the love of many will what? Grow cold. Don't do that. It's so easy to get cold. Whether you're feeling, sorry for yourself, whether you're hurting, whether you came through a bad relationship, whether, you had some issues with mom, you had some issues with dad, you had some links in there where you didn't know some people, so you're feeling insignificant. Like, no matter what that particular issue is, don't allow that to deter you. Like, be that modest person, be that kind person, be that righteous person, be that turn the other cheek person, be that forgiver. It is that spirit and that energy that will attract the right person to you. Number three, smile, man. Be friendly. Carry yourself in a certain way and be a kind woman. In our day and age, man, where it's all about either the bag or what I got or my degree or my this and that, just simply being a kind woman, you separate yourself. And men, trust me, men still love kind women, and men want to take care of kind women. Remember that for the women who want providers. And then number four, don't buy into the lies of the world. The feminism, the lies of this world that tells you to move up the corporate ladder, man. Nothing will be more significant than your relationship with the Father and your family. Learn about relationships. Study about relationship. Read books on what it means to be a kingdom woman and a kingdom wife. You have to put forth the effort in it way before you get it. Take care, guys. Peace.